The half lie. Learning objectives. 1. We should never tell a lie. 2. We should never believe in rumors. Warm up. Let's see if you're smart enough to find out the lie. 2 truths and 1 lie. Use your math skills to determine which of the 3 statements below is a dirty lie. Explain how you made your decision. Once upon a time, a merchant was walking through the market in Cairo when he saw a slave for sale. "How much is this slave for?" he asked. "Only 600 pieces of silver," replied the slave dealer, "for he has a single fault." "What's that?" said the merchant. "Why," said the slave dealer, "he always tells one lie here, and if you buy him, you must put up with one lie each year." Now the merchant loved a bargain. "Only one lie a year?" thought he. "That isn't much. Most slaves tell many more. So do I, for that matter." So he bought Kafur, as the slave was called, took him home and set him to work, and for some months all went well. Kafur was cheerful and obedient and hard-working. On New Year's Day, the merchant and some of his friends rode out on their mules to a pretty flower garden a little way outside the city to celebrate. They took fruit and cakes with them, carpets to sit on, and musical instruments. Kafur went with him. At about midday, the merchant said to Kafur, "Mount my mule and ride home. Ask my wife for more pistachio nuts and bring them back as fast as you can." Kafur set off, but as he drew near the merchant's house, he tore his clothes and began to howl out loud. "Oh, my master!" he sobbed. "Oh, my poor master! What will become of us all now?" Many people, old and young, heard and gathered round him, and they all went along with him to his master's house. When the merchant's wife heard Kafur's cries and howls and saw the crowd of people, she ran to the door. "Oh, mistress!" screamed the slave, the tears running down his face. "My poor master is dead. The old garden wall, in whose shade he was sitting with his friends, fell suddenly and killed them all." Then the merchant's wife wept, and so did his daughters, and all the women of the house, and all the women in the crowd ran in to comfort them. The merchant's wife ran through her home, and in despair she began breaking the windows and smashing the china plates, just to show how much she loved her husband. That was often how people showed sorrow when the master of the house died. "Come, Kafur, and help me mourn," called out the merchant's wife, and between them they pulled down shelves, broke crockery, tore the rich hangings, and smeared soot on the walls. Bang! Went a blue and gold china coffee pot upon the floor. Crash! And Kafur, with a sob, hurled his master's precious coffee cups through the window. Smash! He threw a little ebony table inlaid with ivory after the coffee cups, so that it broke into pieces in the courtyard, and all the while Kafur kept calling out, "Oh, my poor master! My poor master!" Kafur and the merchant's wife tore the gold embroidered cushions and ripped up the divans, Kafur, with a great tug, pulled down the high shelves which ran round the kitchen just under the roof, and clatter bang! All the green and blue china and silver and gold bowls on them fell to the floor and broke. Kafur worked with a will and ran all over the house, till soon the whole place was a ruin, with broken china, soot, and torn goods everywhere. Now, said the merchant's wife, let us go and fetch my poor husband's body. She ran out of the house with all the people following her, and as they went through the streets, more and more people began to join in. Kafur ran before them all, still howling and weeping and crying out, "Oh, my poor master! My poor master!" Soon he had out distanced all the others, so that he got to the garden first, with a huge crowd some way behind. Then, though he still howled and wept, he began to cry out, "Oh, woe, woe! Oh, my mistress! My mistress! Who will care for me now?" His master, who was sitting peacefully with his friends, heard him. "What's this?" said the merchant, standing up and looking very pale. "What on earth has happened?" "Ah, my mistress," said Kafur, "when I reached your house, I found that it had fallen down and that everyone inside it had been killed." "My wife?" said the merchant. "Dead," cried Kafur. "And the mule I loved to ride on?" "Crushed too," cried Kafur. "And my son and my daughters?" "All dead," cried Kafur. "And the sheep and the geese and the hens too?" Then the merchant beat his chest and tore his fine clothes. His friends, when they heard, wept too, and they all started off towards the city. They had not gone far when, of course, they met the merchant's wife and family and a huge crowd of neighbors. "Oh, are you safe?" cried the merchant's wife. "Oh, how is it with you?" cried the merchant. "Why, we are all right," said his wife. But Kafur came weeping and with his clothes torn and told us the wall of the garden had fallen upon you as you feasted. "No," said the merchant. "Kafur ran in here weeping and crying, clothes torn and with dust on his head, and told us the house had fallen upon you and that you were all killed." Then they both turned on Kafur, who was still weeping and crying and beating his chest. "How's this, you wretch?" said the merchant. "You won't get off lightly, I can tell you. Just wait till we get home, and then you'll have a beating you won't forget." "Oh no, master," answered Kafur with a grin. "That would not be fair. You bought me cheap because I had one fault, and you said you would put up with the consequences of my telling one lie a year. So far, this has only been half a lie. Before the end of the year, I'll tell the other half." The merchant was furious, but all the bystanders agreed that it would not be fair for him to punish Kafur. When he got home and found his house in such a state and so much damage done, he remembered with horror that Kafur had talked about more lies before the year was out. "Do you call this only half a lie?" "Yes, master," said Kafur, grinning. "Why, then a whole lie of yours would wreck a city, or even two. You are not going to tell the other half here. I can tell you, I'd rather set you free. Be off out of my house at once." Find meaning. Huge, very big. Ebony, a hard black wood. Bargain, something offered or bought at less than the normal price. Mourn, to feel and show sorrow because somebody has died. Smear, to rub something dirty or greasy on the surface. Inlaid, filled, set into the surface with different materials. Ivory, the hard white substance that elephants' tusks are made of. Wretch, someone who is unhappy, poor, or disliked. Get off lightly, escape without excessive punishment or expense. Consequence, something which happens because of an event of action. Exercises. Creative expression. Tell your story. Can you think of a time when you told a lie? Why did you do it? How did you feel? What happened? Did you do it to get out of trouble, or did you do it to put someone in trouble? Share your story with your classmates. Learning by doing. Read the passage and answer the below questions. A farmer had a cluster of beautiful bamboo trees. One day he stood before the tallest one and said, "My friend, I need you." "Sir," said the bamboo, "use me in any way you wish. I am ready." Then the gardener's voice became serious and he said, "In order to use you, I've got to split you in half." Then the bamboo reacted, "Split me? Oh no, I'm the nicest bamboo in the garden. Use me in any way you wish, but please don't split me in half." "Well said," the gardener. "If I can't split you, I can't use you." The bamboo went silent. Then it bowed its head and said, "Okay, if the only way you can use me is by splitting me, go ahead." "But that's not all," said the gardener. "I'm going to have to cut off all your branches." "That will be the end of my beauty," the bamboo said. "But if that's the only way I can be of use, cut me down altogether." So the farmer cut down the bamboo, removed its branches, and split it down the middle. After hollowing out its insides, he brought it to a spring of water. It became a pipe to bring water to the gardens and make them fertile and fruitful. It gave its life to help other lives. Every day right around us, people are giving their lives that we might live. Take for example our parents, our teachers. 1. What did the farmer have? A. Banana tree. B. Bamboo tree. C. Mango tree. Answer: B. Bamboo tree. 2. Why did the farmer want to split the bamboo into half? A. To use it. B. To throw it. C. To eat it. Answer: to use it. 3. How could the farmer water his garden with the help of bamboo? A. As a storage. B. As a pipe. C. As a fertilizer. Answer: B. As a pipe. 4. What do these words mean? Silent, quiet. 5. The tree sacrifices its life for A. His family. B. Others. C. Farmer. Answer: C. Farmer. Critical thinking. Let's play a game. Goodbye 2022. 2022 was a year of incredible change. The coronavirus showed us how interconnected we are. Remember that storms don't last forever, and sometimes in the rain we can find a rainbow. Use the table below to brainstorm all of the great moments you had and the tough obstacles you had to face. What have you done and achieved in 2022? Column A, done. Column B, achieved. Welcome to 2023. What is your resolution for the upcoming future year? What do you want to achieve? Resolution 2023. Logical decision making. Imagine one of your best friends telling you a huge lie. His lie caused a fight between you and others. In the end, your friend tells you it was a lie. What would you do? Exercise time. Answer the following questions. 1. What was the only fault with the slave? Answer. The only fault with the slave was that he lied once a year. 2. Where did the merchant ride out to celebrate on the New Year's Day? What did they take with them? Answer. The merchant rode out on his mules to a pretty flower garden. They took fruits and cakes with them. 3. What did the master ask Kafur to do? Answer. The master asked Kafur to go back and bring pistachio nuts. 4. Did Kafur follow his master's instruction? What did he do instead? Answer. Kafur went back, but he lied to the merchant's wife that the merchant had died. 5. What did the master's wife do to mourn her husband? Answer. Master's wife ran through her home and in despair she began breaking the windows and smashing the china plates just to show how much she loved her husband. 6. What did the merchant mean when he told Kafur, "You won't get off lightly"? Answer. The merchant meant that he will beat up Kafur for what he did once they get home. Find their meaning. 1. Slave. Labor. 2. Dealer. Trader. 3. Suit. Ash. 4. Obedient. Studious. 5. Mules. Donkey. 6. Grinning. Smile broadly. Fill in the blanks. 1. The slave costed 600 pieces of silver. 2. Master and his friends rode out on their mules to the flower garden. 3. All the women of the family started mourning. 4. Merchant heard the news and torn clothes off. Take the right options. 1. The name of the slave was A. Farooq, B. Kafur, C. Shahrukh. Answer. B. Kafur. 2. What did Kafur do? A. Lied on New Year's Eve, B. Ran away, C. Both A and B. Answer. A. Lied on New Year's Eve. 3. What did the merchant do in the end? A. Asked Kafur to leave, B. Gave Kafur a beating, C. Praised Kafur. Answer. A. Asked Kafur to leave. Match the following: coffee cup, mule, geese.